Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And yes, the day has come. The court case is on again, one of the many court cases. This one is the security case, the judicial review. It's back on today in London. Has been, is not there. Most of the hearing will be in private because it's all obviously highly confidential, secret information about decision-making processes, about security for very important people. The people who are not so important anymore, of course, the Parkles, who were stripped of their police security as a result of Mexiting and going off overseas, and of course great indignation from Prince Harry. He's taking them to court about this and wanting judicial review, and so back we are today. He doesn't seem to be around. I don't know whether he's in the UK, but so far as I can tell, he hasn't actually showed up in court merching another of those Dior shirts like he did last time. But so the court case, on it goes, this judicial review. So far it's cost the British taxpayer well over £400,000. So I hope that they think it's money well spent. And interestingly, and where we're heading today with this reading, just recently, very recently, in German newspapers it was reported that Muslim extremists are calling for the, and I dare not say the word here, but for the ending, shall we say, with extreme prejudice of Prince Has-Been, in retaliation for his comments in Spare, his time that he spent in Afghanistan, those very stupid comments he made in Spare, and of course in support of the people of Palestine. So the quote that I can read is that they are saying the USA and Prince Harry should be particularly targeted. Interesting that it's come from German newspapers. We know the Parkles were in Germany quite recently, in Düsseldorf, and this story was picked up, and I think that I saw it on Reddit. Interesting timing. I want to know if it's coincidental. I want to know if it will have any bearing on the court case. I want to know how serious the risks to Harry are. I have looked at this question before this particular article came out, a long time before, and it did look as if there were some security concerns, which is puzzling given that he doesn't trot around with security so visibly as his wife does in car parks, as she has done just recently, and we'll look at that next. I'm using the Zombie Tarot. Haven't used this one for a long time. It is a bit gruesome. I'm not sure if the censors at YouTube, the Google censors, will take kindly to this tarot deck, so we'll see what happens. I might just leave the cards on the table. They are, as I say, a bit gory, a bit gruesome, so apologies if you're squeamish, but it's the only tarot deck that I have that really shows the military in any shape or form. So that's why I'm using it today, and we're going to just have a look at this call to arms, shall we say, targeting particularly the US and Prince Harry. And we're going to look at the court case, the timing of this alleged call to arms, because how serious is it? How serious should it be taken? Seriously should it be taken? Is it real? Well, all those things we're going to try and find out today, as I have to get on the floor to pick up a card that went flying off, shuffle a bit more. But to remind you, as I'm shuffling these cards, haven't used them for ages, that this is just tarot. It's for fun and entertainment. It's all my opinion. It's all speculation. I just read energy here, and I'm certainly not inciting anyone to violence or encouraging violence against Prince Harry. Of course not. There is a disclaimer in the box below. So I think we've got all of that out the way, and the cards are jumping. So let's see what they want to tell us. Little reading, see about the story in the German papers, have a quick look at the court case as well. What's going on with the court case? That's the security risk. Harry's own view of the security risk here, the court case, the timing, the impact, and then the outcome of the court case from Harry's point of view. And we have the Lovers in reverse as our underlying energy, which is choices, bad choices. I don't think we literally are talking about a couple who are in terminal decline as a couple, which the Lovers can signify. But I think it's all about choices and who has partnered with whom and who has chosen what. But let's see what that choice might actually be with that card. Let's have a look and see what the actual situation is that we are dealing with. We're dealing with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We can show you her, I think. And that is, of course, misfortune. The wheel turning against you, a run of bad luck, taking a gamble and coming unstuck with that Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And this might be what is going on, that, of course, Harry, when he made those silly comments in Spare, thought that he was going to be viewed as a hero. And now it's turned out that it's come back to bite him in the behind. These stupid statements, bad choices. Lovers in reverse, what it used to be called the choice card, and I'm reading it very much about people's decisions, what they have decided to do, and the implications of those choices. And we have it already with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Misfortune due to life choices, things, stupid comments made, and aligning himself possibly with not necessarily the best people. So let's have a look at his security situation according to the energy of these cards and see how serious it is in general. Security risks to him. Yeah, we've got the Five of Swords. That's interesting. That's a conflict card. He is a target. This is precisely what this newspaper article coming from Germany said, this particular group. I don't recognize the name, and I'm certainly not going to repeat it here in public, on a public platform like this, but he certainly is a target for aggression, for fighting, according to this energy that I'm reading here with the Five of Swords. So yeah, it does seem serious. How serious is this particular threat that has been reported very recently? That's general. How seriously should we take this? Is it just silliness, or is it not so silly? Well, it's the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups can indicate an illusion. It does indicate possibilities. So there is a possibility here that is being floated. How serious it is? If I had got the Five of Swords in that position, I would say a serious risk. But because it's Seven of Swords, it's the card of delusion, it's Neptunian energy, might be less real than it looks. Not to diminish the level of threat, because we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and we have the Five of Swords on the table here. So I'm not belittling it, I'm not diminishing it, I'm not making light of the situation at all. But with the Seven of Cups, you always have to take it with a pinch of salt. And perhaps he believes it. There was a strange plane that flew over Montecito recently with a banner behind talking about Mummy Diana and her fate, and was it just an accident, which I haven't had a chance to look at. But possibly there is something going on that is perhaps even making him paranoid without it being real. That's what people are speculating might be going on at some level. Some agency around him that is trying to make him paranoid. Seven of Cups could certainly indicate that kind of energy, that it's not that real, but he might believe it's real. So it's quite an odd energy that's coming through here, an energy of mind games. Who is being manipulated? Who is the true victim of this? Who are the agents who are pulling the strings behind the scenes? Really very interesting question, and we don't really have an answer here. How about his own feelings? How worried is he about his security right now? Knight of Swords, that is somebody that is prepared for danger. So I do think he feels that he is at risk. It is the card of rapid response, the Knight of Swords. And we saw when they were in that near catastrophic car chase, he was the one that seemed to be taking it seriously. He was filming on his phone. Of course, he was asked to hand over the footage from his phone to the police. Never did, according to Neil Sean. Neil Sean often goes back to that story and talks about it and says that Harry never produced the footage that he took that night. So again, Seven of Cups energy, that's one of the stunts that might have been pulled to make Harry believe that he was a target and that he was at risk. We can speculate about that, of course, and who might be behind that. But for him, Knight of Swords is somebody who's on high alert, who's braced, who's ready to spring into action at the slightest provocation. He's very fast-moving, a rapid response kind of energy, the Knight of Swords. It's upright, so he feels he's got it under control. He feels confident about his ability to defend himself, about the ability of the people around him to protect him. But let's look at those people around him, and of course that's his military training that's showing up here. Let's look at the people around him and why they are less obvious than Meghan's people. She's always, she even went to that variety thing with her bodyguard and sent him in before to case the joint and, you know, check it out. Nobody else, none of the real celebrities bothered to do that, but Meghan Markle did and made sure that we all knew about it. But Harry doesn't seem to be so high profile. Why? Justice. Justice, rather a grisly Justice card. It could have something to do with proceedings that I suspect are going on behind the scenes. A separation type of proceedings, which I constantly see. It's a divorce card, the Justice card. It's legal proceedings. It can also have to do with the proceedings that are going on in the UK at the moment. And he might be trying to prove a point to them by doing this, by saying it's not fair that I don't have the kind of security that the rest of my family do. I mean, I am the highest risk. I have the highest risk profile of all of them. He seems to believe that. And he does seem to be at risk to a certain extent with the Five of Swords. Even though, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, he might be the author of his own misfortune in this case. But I think it has to do with the court case, that he's demonstrating how vulnerable he is. Look, I don't have all these bodyguards in tow. I have to walk around all by myself wherever I go. And I am at risk. And there are these threats. Look, German newspapers reporting actual threats on my life, and do something about it, you justice system. Because the thinking is that if this decision goes in his favor in this current court case, then it goes back to Ravik. They have to redo their decision, and if they decide that he is worthy of protection in the UK, then as far as I understand it, or people speculate, that protection will spill out all around the world, and wherever Harry is, he will be entitled to protection. So it's quite a big deal if he gets protection in the UK. The thinking is, I could be wrong, but the thinking is that that protection will extend to wherever he and his family are, because they would then acquire international protected person status. I'm not sure about that, but that's what people seem to be saying. Let's have a look at the court case. Was this timing coincidence, or was it intentional, this story in the German papers? We got the Queen of Hazards in reverse. Queen of Hazards is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It could be intentional with that card in reverse. It's saying, look, my family is unprotected. My wife could be widowed with that card, because it is the wife energy, the Queen of Hazards, as it's called in this tarot. The Queen of Hazards in reverse, she could be left on her own, vulnerable, unprotected, not having sufficient resources to protect herself. If the has-been is removed from this equation, then she would be left vulnerable. And could you do this to this poor, innocent darling? That's the energy that's coming off this for me. It's interesting that my eyes are drawn back to the Lovers in reverse. The separation of the divine couple by this violent act that has been encouraged. Decisions, choices. Court is also one that's going to make a decision, a choice. So lots of decisions going on here. He could also be saying that if there is a separation, he could turn around and blame this decision process. She felt so vulnerable, she felt so at risk that she couldn't stay in the marriage, she had to walk away from it. They could play that pity card. There's a lot of suggestions about the pity cards that they could play in the event of a separation or a divorce and blame everyone else for the fact that the relationship failed. And this is one of those things with Lovers in reverse and the Justice card sitting here and the Wife card, the Queen of Hazards in reverse. I can read that from the cards. I can get that energy from the cards quite easily without having to get very creative in the way that I read the cards. They're just basically telling me that story in a very straightforward way. So that is the timing that we've looked at, and it's given me a slightly different answer. What impact will the story have, if any, on the court case? And we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Can I show you the Queen of Cups? Yes, I think I can. We'll put her down. Impact on the court case. It's Mummy Diana energy. It's again an upset woman. I don't think that the courts are going to be swayed by the story from the German press. I think that they're going to ignore it. And I think that we are then going to have a bit of that banner that was floated over Montecito very recently. For the plane took off from a local airfield, flew over around and round, towing this banner behind. There are photos of it on Twitter about Mummy's death, and was it really an accident? We have that energy here again of that, whether that is going to be played to make her leave the wife. I'm so at risk, I can't stay, or I can never go back to the UK because it's too dangerous for me and the children, because I'm biracial and those awful people in the UK, including the awful royals, might do a Mummy Diana. I'm not saying for 1 second that I believe any of those conspiracies. I do not. But I'm just saying that that might be something that's thrown his way, Harry's way. He does seem suggestible. He does seem to be quite vulnerable when it comes to the story. And it's odd that this story has loomed large in this spread, in the cards, in the energy that has come through from this particular tarot deck. And I was not going to use these cards because they are a bit controversial, shall we just say. But they really insisted on coming out. I had a whole other tarot deck out here. I'd really started to do the reading. I was shuffling. And then I thought, no, really, that's not the right energy. This is the right energy. And the reason it's the right energy is because this story has come through. So let's finish this reading and let's see the outcome of this court case. As I said, if he wins this round, doesn't mean he's won overall. It means it goes back to Ravik. What's going to happen? So we'll put that away. 10 of Wands. It doesn't look like it's going to go very well for him. My question was, how's it going to go for him? The outcome of this current round of this particular legal process. There is another part of this case that I think is also going to be heard, or the decision is going to come through in the next few days, and that's about the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail coming out and saying Harry was doing his best to keep things secret, and I think he's claimed defamation, and I think that decision is coming through at some stage quite soon, maybe even this week. But 10 of Wands is not a happy card. It's a lonely and burdened card. Somebody who really is feeling the heavy weight of his choices. Lovers in reverse. It does not look like it's going to go well for him. So what do we have here? We have the Lovers in reverse, a divorce card, a separation, are being judged for your choices, your life choices. Wheel of Fortune in reverse, gambled with the situation, but it's come back to bite him in the behind. Is he a target? Is he at risk? Yes, Five of Swords. There is conflict around him, definitely, those hands reaching out for him. But how serious is this threat that was picked up in the German press? Not that, maybe mind games. Look at all these heads there that are being played. How does he feel? Knight of Swords, he does feel that he's at risk, but he feels he's on top of it and can defend himself and can respond very quickly. Why isn't he surrounded by security all the time like she is? For the sake of this court case, to make himself look vulnerable. Also because there might be proceedings going on behind the scenes to do with their marriage, lovers in reverse, divorce, kinds of things going on. But I think it's more to make himself look vulnerable. I can't afford it. I need it. And if you give it to me in the UK, then I'm going to get it everywhere. In the US as well, most particularly. Timing of this thing, we get the Queen of Hazards in reverse. Timing of this German story affecting the court case. Is it coincidence? I don't think it's entirely coincidental, because we've got the poor wife would be left bereft on her own, or possibly would leave the marriage. We're getting that energy. That's my interpretation of these cards. I have to be very clear that this is the story that is coming through for me as a tarot reader. I am speculating that this is what's really going on. For me, personally, my interpretation. How will it impact the court case, if at all? Queen of Cups in reverse. I think that it's not going to impact the court case, but I think he is going to be told, well, I'm vulnerable, I'm helpless like your mother, you can't protect me, I'm out of here. I do see that because of the Lovers in reverse underlying, which I didn't really understand when I first saw that card, but now I do. But I also feel that he's going to feel that he's being left vulnerable like his mother was. And then the outcome of the case, this current round of legal proceedings, 10 of Wands, doesn't bode well for him. It looks like he's going to feel very, very burdened at the end of it, very alone, possibly even regretting decisions, choices that he has made. That is your reading. I hope that Google doesn't take offense to these cards and that you are able to see it at some stage today. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.